What's good, y'all?
Got the first edition here of the Boxem office hours as well, basically, where we help you grow your Amazon business. So if you're watching this on the replay, we'll be live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it'll be a good time, basically. Be a good time. Any questions you guys got, please feel free to let us know. Maybe do a live shipment as well, too. Which will be good to go here.
Absolutely. Yeah, so let us know what questions you guys got. Amazon related, Boxem related, FBA shipments, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll do this weekly, and should be a good time. What up, Sadiq?
Yep.
Oh, you were here 30 minutes ago. He was pre-gaming the stream. We'd love to see
yeah,
it.
literally, bro. Right? Yeah, literally pre-gaming as well, too.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you're watching on the replay and you're making FBA shipments with Seller Central or any other tool that's kind of outdated, hasn't been updated in a long time, you can check out a free trial of Boxem. You get faster check-in times with 2D barcodes, just built better. It's been built by Amazon sellers for sellers, so we're excited to keep adding lots more stuff for you guys. What up, Alex?
Yep, good to see you here, family, as well. Cedric, what up? Cool. Some of you guys tapping in on TikTok as well. We're also live on YouTube too, so that's why we might be answering questions you don't necessarily see in the chat. But any questions you guys do have in respect to Q4, growing your Amazon business in general, anything like that, please do feel free to let us know, and we would love to help you get those answered and everything too.
Absolutely. You're asking, is 35K BSR good or not? Yeah, that's really good. For most categories, it's going to be the top 150K or so, except for like video games and stuff like that.
Very small categories, for example. And ironically, with video games being a smaller category, books is a phenomenally large category, right? So that one, for example, you can go way higher because books typically you end up like getting them for free and stuff like that. Yeah. And at the end of the day, there's like some of the larger categories like shoes, clothing, jewelry, for example, is a gigantic category. And there's listings with a 500K rank that still do really well, right? What you basically just need to do is look at the Keepa chart and see if the competition is moving adequately, pretty much.
Yeah. Right? And honestly, coming into Q4 and like, I was looking at like some Halloween stuff last night where the sales rank is not great yet. So you can kind of ignore it on some products, whether you know that every season it like massively increases. Some of y'all are going to be able to buy some stuff that says it sells 10 times a month right now, but with Halloween volume, with Christmas volume, all that kind of stuff, it's going to be 100, 200, even more sometimes.
Yeah, and and estimated sales lags behind sales rank too. So like a lot of Halloween products, for example, or Thanksgiving products, either already or soon, have their sales rank plummeting, aka demand going up substantially, right? But estimated sales is still going to lag behind that. So just like Warner's saying, that can be potentially miss, and that's why our favorite way to gauge velocity of a product is actually going to be offer count and movement on the bottom Keepa chart, not sales rank necessarily. Do you think it's worth it to take a shitty 10K personal loan at like 29% APR to help jumpstart the business? Absolutely not. Do not do that. That is a horrible idea. Instead, sell used books if you don't have money. Yeah,
it's time to get creative.
Yep.
Do anything like service-based you can do too if you have any kind of skill or that kind of thing. But yeah, sell cheap stuff and try to make money and keep the 9 to 5 for now, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Facebook Marketplace flipping as well. There's tons of ways to get creative with your time if you don't have money. Because in general, pretty much everyone has one of the two. And if you don't, you're like really, really down bad, basically, which means you need to overcompensate by really, really like getting to it, basically. But for the most part, you tend to have one of them. When should I start preparing for the Q4 rush? Yeah, so that's primarily going to be between December 5th to the 20th in respect to like the main time of the year. So I'd say when to start buying for that's going to be like Black Friday. You know what I mean? But if you're, watching the stream now, you're going to have infrastructure in place. You're going to be already FBMing shit by then, right? Where you should be just in a nice rhythm restocking products by then.
Yeah, and pre-Black Friday sales. Don't sleep on pre-Black Friday sales. I didn't even think about that until the last couple of years. Like the beginning of November, a lot of them want another excuse to run a bunch of good sales. So there'll be some opportunities then. So like that early November, even mid-November, you can do a lot. You can get away with a lot of FBA shipments, Boxem 2D barcodes, and make sure that you get checked in a lot faster, just because check-in times slow down a lot. And then when it comes to like actual Black Friday, you're probably going to want to transition a lot to FBM, maybe stick to a little bit of 2D barcode and stuff that checked in fast, but it's kind of the game plan there.
How do you find a NASIN on a shoe like Nike on Amazon? I swear I can't find it on a listing. Yeah, so it probably doesn't exist then. If it's grayed out, then it does exist, but you might not be able to find it. Unfortunately, it's not cut and dry over whether or not you'll be able to, right? And where you'd be able to, if it does exist, is going to be on the variation wizard. So if you look up like Amazon FBA variation wizard on Google, you'll find the direct link.
Oh yeah, yeah, those can be good though. Yeah, if no one's selling it right now, you can bring it back. That's a pretty good one. Does every item sent to Amazon need to be placed in a poly bag? No, Brian. So generally, when you're making those shipments, it'll be, if it's a liquid, it's a good idea to poly bag it. Usually required. If it's a multi-pack, you probably have to throw it in a bag together. Or if the outside of the package is gonna get dirty on the belts at Amazon, basically, then that also needs to be poly bagged. So like a white T-shirt, you'll throw that in a bag.
And then everything that is FBM, you're typically, a lot of stuff's going to go into poly mailer, so it doesn't necessarily need a poly bag specifically. If it's
no effing SKUs or anything like that either. Yeah,
that's a big waste of time. No packing slips. I mean, theoretically, Amazon like requires that, but don't really see an issue with not including those. But Amazon does require it. Hello, sir. We have 38 orders canceled for 6 months. That's really not that bad, honestly. You didn't receive the payment, because the order was canceled, so you didn't ship the item either. As well.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds normal.
Yeah, because once you ship an item, the customer can't formally like request to cancel it within Seller Central.
Absolutely. OX, what up? What up? Would the ghost? Some new names. I don't know if I've seen you guys in here.
Yeah, I don't think so either, man. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. How can I lock in for Q4? Yeah, so if we want to like really dig into that specifically, which we totally can here, basically, what that's going to look like is from now till mid-November, either FBMing listings that you can see other people FBMing, or if you're FBAing inventory, Boxem 2D barcodes, basically, which are just special FBA box labels that replace the normal FBA box label on the package, right? Which is going to be awesome as well too. And then until like November 15th, then around like November 15th, 20th, most listings start to become FBM friendly. And unfortunately, the Amazon warehouses can be really backed up even before then. Honestly, you'll know just based on your specific check-in times you're specifically seeing for your business, right? So you basically start to FBA as the market, or start to FBM as the market tells you to. And then if you do it right, it's going to be a lot of in December, just prices going to the moon, competition plumbing, and restocking products to merch fill as best as you can, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's mostly just keeping up with everything that's flying off the shelf. It's a lot of you guys you're about to have your minds blown with how fast some of this stuff sells. You have Boxem when you ship to Amazon. They're splitting your shipments. How do you limit split shipments? Yeah, Brian. So those are Amazon basically decides which warehouses that you're going to ship to. So specifically, if you want less split shipments, you could switch to something like a partial split or minimal within Seller Central. We got some cool updates that'll make all that simpler for you guys soon. Yeah, that's kind of just how Amazon takes care of it. Those are like, they do come with a per unit fee. So what I've seen personally is if you're making really big shipments, it tends to be cheaper via optimized. So that's like a couple hundred units or more. If you have less, then partial has been cheaper, at least from what I've seen so far.
When you're on gating, would you recommend purchasing multiple items from Target all in one order for the invoices? Nah, just keep it simple and do them separate orders. You can do it. It's just going to be easier for the Amazon system to read the data if it's one type of item, one brand, or essentially just one product per order right there.
So what's up? Got approved on Monday. Sweet. Yeah, just in time, Ollie. Should you go all the way or RA, FBM, or FBA? Like the fastest way to get proof of concept is what's important. Like it's insane that the seller who goes out and they make a sale within their first few days, first week, that kind of thing. It just makes it easier, like psychologically. All right, this is serious. Let me go out there and make some more money. So you should start by hitting some local stores, list that FBM, make a couple sales, get the proof of concept. And then especially this time of year, try to start learning OA as fast as possible, because that's going to be the real bread and butter. That's how you really scale seriously during November, December, that kind of thing.
Yep. And the way you're going to do that is watching YouTube videos, finding some other cool sellers to work with. We have a free Discord group. We have a Facebook group. There's a great community on Twitter, Instagram. Like there's lots of cool Amazon sellers to work with. You just got to find them still. And the cool thing is that's free as well. To appreciate you fellas a lot. Yeah, Ali, we got you, man. We got you. Do you use any repricing tools? Yeah, so we use BQL specifically. So there's a link in the description if you want to check that out. Right there, there's lots of good reprices though, and you should test out a couple specifically right there. And we have full tutorials on our channels too that go over everything you need in respect to that.
Yep. Prep center in Florida. You don't really want a prep center in Florida because you're going to pay 6-7% sales tax or so. You want a prep center in like Montana, Delaware, New Hampshire, any of those states with no sales tax. That way it saves you time and money.
Yep, completely agree, right? And even Pennsylvania, New Jersey, like there's certain Rhode Island, there's certain states that have no sales tax and some stuff. Massachusetts, for example, I wasn't fully sure, and I had a call with the guy today from Massachusetts, and he confirmed no sales tax vibes, which is awesome. So if you're in one of those states, you got to make sure you're not counting in sales tax, because it's like, it's brutal to think of how many Amazon sellers start doing Amazon and put in their sales tax in SellerAmp and factored in on the SellerAmp calculator their whole time, and they wonder why they never find stuff, and they never even had a fighting chance from the get-go, or at least in respect like an extra 7 to 10% basically. So make sure you have that correct in your SellerAmp settings.
Yeah, and when you start working with your prep centers, they can use your Boxem for you. A lot of prep centers have been loving switching because it saves them so much more time over all the older stuff.
Yep. And so this is essentially the first weekly Boxem office hours. So obviously we're happy to answer any questions in regards to selling on Amazon, right? But we're also streaming from the Boxem YouTube as well too. So whatever questions y'all got, let us know. A lot of Boxem specific tutorials are on the Boxem channel.
Yeah, and if you're on mine or Miles' channel already, go sub to the Boxem channel. We've been dropping some more videos over there. I got one uploading right now. Miles has been popping a couple out there, so there's even more free value over there.
Oh yeah.
Should you split your capital in half and use one half on lesser known brands? And then try to ungate brand. I mean, sorta. I wouldn't be like, getting that into the weeds on it. It's a good idea to diversify what you're buying, especially at the beginning. So buy 5, 10, 20 units of some products, test it out. But I wouldn't necessarily worry about ungated brands, that kind of stuff, because you can always ungate it all with wherever you're buying from. Usually the brand's website, Target, anything like that'll work.
Yeah, and it's also in general too. Typically, as a beginner, you're not going to be good enough to be able to be regimented like that as well. You just take whatever you can find profit.
Yeah. That's a good point too. You end up skipping over profit if you like have arbitrary rules that I can't buy this even though it's a good item sitting right in front of you.
Do I put my shipping costs in my SellerAmp settings, or do I manually calculate it, and does it already calculate? So FBA shipping will automatically be factored in for the FBA calculator if you put it in your shipping settings for, I believe it's inbound shipping is the term that's necessarily used. And then for FBM, you're going to have to manually add it in, just going down to the FBM calculator on SellerAmp specifically. So I'll pull up an example here too as well and show you guys basically. So let's get a listing up right here. Let's hit the screen share right here. So this is super important. This is a huge mistake a ton of beginners make, is not doing this. Basically, so the way we're going to do that, right, is so we pull up the number. Oops. Let's see. So we go here, right? So we pull it around right here, right? So we can see here's the normal SellerAmp calculator right here, right? And so we can see these right here are the FBA numbers. So if you wanted to do the FBM numbers, you would not just manually subtract the profit from here. Instead, you want to scroll down here and factor over to the FBM numbers right here. Boom. Then we want to check the weight. We can see this listing is 6 ounces. So it's probably going to ship for like $5, $4.50 right here. And we can see this specific item. We actually get an extra 10% of ROI FBMing compared to FBA, because FBA, this already has the shipping factored in because I have that on my settings. Meanwhile, FBM, you need to factor over right there. So that's a very important pro tip that a lot of people screw up specifically right there. So very, very important that you go ahead and utilize that correct right there. 415K BSR. Yeah, that's actually another good point too. So this is an interesting example, guys, where this is a high rank, but this thing totally moves. Yeah, see that? This listing totally moves. Not the fastest in the world, but it totally does, right? And then if we take off the sales rank here, oops. If we take off the sales rank, we can see this is a good selling product here. Totally good selling product.
Lots of people hopping off. Anytime you guys see that keep a pattern, it means like the algorithm's trying to find somebody who can get it to a customer fast enough. Basically, it's having a cycle between a lot of sellers to make that happen.
Yep.
Instead of it just being like a straight line.
How can I go about finding wholesalers and actually vetting them? Yeah. So the biggest tip with that is for the most part going to be starting out with like local trade shows or Googling, cold calling, and cold emailing, and it's going to be pretty obvious if a supplier is legit just based on how they do business, right? If they were created a year ago, I'd be a little suspect. If they were created 12 years ago, I would be a little not suspect, right? If they have a warehouse you can see locally, you can go to, you can shake their hand, that's a good sign. If they do not have a warehouse and claim they will ship it to Amazon for you and you can't see them, that's a red flag. As well, if they want only wire payments, or if they make it very easy for you to pay via credit card, that's going to be easier, right? Yo, bro, I started watching on YouTube 2 days ago on my journey for FBA. Let's get it. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, so we're actually live on YouTube as well, too. So there's that large viewing
Streamception going on there.
Oh, literally, bro.
Yep.
Prepping for Halloween. Should I FBM or FBA? If the listings are telling you that you can FBM, which is other people getting buy box FBM, I think that's a great idea to pursue there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Guys are great. Appreciate you, Michael. I saw online someone only uses Amazon shipping because they can handle, I assume you mean A to Z claims better. Yeah, that is true.
100% true.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So unless it's like a really heavy item where like a pirate ship cubic shipping might be a little bit cheaper, it's almost always best to go buy that shipping directly through Amazon. That way, if anything goes wrong, you got that basically A to Z insurance almost. And Amazon will refund the customer. Any recommendations on category? Oh, hang on. Categories when going to the bargain store for the first time. Yeah. Good question, Ali. As far as like Marshalls, TJ Maxx, I assume you mean like those type of stores. I find the most success in beauty. Sometimes like you can check some stuff on the clothing racks, that kind of stuff, and then surprisingly like home goods. Like look at like the sheets and like random little kitchen gadgets. Sometimes those can be good. Usually I just kind of get a little bit picky on that and only scan brands that I've heard of before.
I'm having problems setting up my SellerAmp. Let us know with what specifically, Miss Juicy. Is it too late to send inventory to FBA right now? Absolutely not. You have another month and a half easily right there, unless for whatever reason your specific warehouse you're shipping to is checking in insanely quick. Do you know the new policy for on-time delivery date? What's changing? So that was something a ton of people freaked out. Similar to most changes on Amazon, it went into effect yesterday, and one person that I know got the at-risk of deactivation, which actually does kind of happen from time to time with FBM if you're pushing it heavy. Obviously not ideally, but it just does happen from time to time. Right there. So yeah, you just have to, within Amazon's criteria, make sure that your orders are being delivered at a clip of 90% plus. Can you use Boxem instead of Amazon shipping? Yeah, bro, that's like the whole point of Boxem right now, is just to make it easier for you to do that right there.
Saves you a bunch of time. I just did some side-by-sides of like listing the same product.
Ooh.
And it was about twice as fast as any other software, and it was about 3.5 times faster than listing on Seller Central.
Boom.
So yeah, if you value your time, you like Boxem.
What do you guys recommend is the best time to completely transition from FBA to FBM for Q4? Yeah, bro. So the nice thing is that the market's going to tell you when that is for your specific catalog. If you want a hard date, November 15th, November 10th, right? But if you want to do it like kind of the best way, it's whenever FBM people start dominating your listings. And when you're listing a lot of shit FBM, it starts moving quick, right? There are lots of websites, limit orders. How can I order more? Place more orders.
Yep. Just need to let you add ASINs in stock. Yeah. So like you'll punch in the ASIN, and then it'll say new SKU, and then below that there'll be a little plus so you can restock any existing SKUs you have. If it's not showing up, it's probably because it was a different fulfillment method, which is a different SKU.
Hey pals, I'm from Canada. Is it viable starting OA here? Because most of the stuff you teach is applicable for US sellers. It's the exact same thing. You should start in Canada though. Yeah.
Different sites, smaller market. A lot of Canadian sellers, they'll hit 10, 20K a month in Canada and then just start really scaling to the moon on the US.
So how does Amazon know you're shipping, etc. through Boxem? Because we have several insanely talented people who wired Amazon into Boxem basically and set everything that up for you. And Amazon knows that Boxem exists. Boxem knows that Amazon exists. Amazon knows that people are sending shipments through Boxem because they're directly tied in through whatever the heck API stands for, which is significantly above my pay grade. My man. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you're using those 2D barcodes. That's how you get faster check-in times and stuff. What do you guys recommend the best time transition from FBA to FBM for Q4? Yeah, good question, Robbie. Probably like right after Black Friday sales, if you want to be super safe about it. If you are still sourcing the type of stuff that might still sell pretty decently well, and like, gift card season after Christmas, that kind of thing, you can still FBA a lot of it. But anything that, especially if it's like you're expecting it to really spike, I would, as soon as December hits, I wouldn't even think about FBA.
How to print 2D barcodes. Same exact process as printing the FBA box labels, honestly, except Boxem, you can do them sooner, basically.
Yep. It goes automatically on that FBA label. So that's it right here. You don't have to do any extra steps. As long as you're using Boxem, it'll literally no extra work, and you start making sales faster.
I sent my first Boxem shipment on the 17th, currently still in receiving, but also no items are Prime eligible on the insights. Yeah, Amazon just hasn't fully received them yet. If you take a look at the listing as if you were a customer, for example, right there, you'll see that your delivery times most likely show far back, basically. Listing with Amazon, should I focus on Q4 Christmas time? Nope. You should focus on stuff that's profitable today. That's going to be the best thing you can do to prepare for Q4 as well. Because getting quick flips, making more cash, getting things flowing, basically, that's going to help you significantly more than, you know, buying stuff and speculating and waiting for it to be good. Now, you're probably not going to lose doing that. You might, right? People are going to pay less than you for the same inventory during Black Friday, though. And your cash flow is just going to be slower, basically, as well, too. Yeah.
What up, Darkness? I'm doing great, man. I hope you are too.
Life's good. I've been studying and wanting to get started doing FBA and just can't find the confidence to get started, and unsure if 3K is enough to get started. If you can't find the confidence, man, there's people that'll steamroll you that are willing to find the confidence, you know? And if you can't find the confidence, you're probably going to have to work a job for 50 years, right? Not that there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but if you're watching this stream right now, that probably isn't what you're looking for, right? So therefore, you have to make the adult decision to find the confidence and get to it. How many sellers is too many on a listing? Yeah, so it's all going to be about the trend. So for example, if the offer count is 10, but it just recently went up from 5 a week ago, the price will probably go down, right? But if there's 100 sellers, but last week there's 120, that listing price sells insanely quick, and the trend is probably going up. How does Amazon know you're using Boxem? Because we spent a ridiculous amount of money, time, and energy to integrate Boxem or create Boxem and integrate it with Amazon, basically. And it's approved by Amazon. So they like went through the whole thing, the whole application, and made sure it looked good, pretty much.
Yep. Starting from 3 products, this Q4 will be your first big OA order. Yeah, I mean, what to look for. Just make sure the profit on that is consistent. Look at last Q4, see what the pricing was on the items. A lot of times, especially as you guys are sourcing, you're going to start seeing a lot of items that are, 20, 25% ROI right now. Maybe not the best thing in the world. It's a great thing to start. Just set up like a Google Sheet on SellerAmp. Just click the Christmas button over and over again. And then on early Black Friday sales, go back through that list again. Black Friday sales, check it again. And you'll find that a lot of that stuff that was almost profitable is super profitable on some of the best sales of the year.
Do you have to be the lowest seller on FBM? Nope. So you need to look at where the buy box is actually going on Keepa and SellerAmp, which doesn't necessarily mean that's actually the current buy box consistently. It could just be where the buy box price has been in the past too, as well.
Yep. Are there any well-known websites that do not let you resell? I mean, there's some, Thomas, but like it's very person to person. Yeah. Some websites, like, one seller might buy literally 10 units and they say never come back ever again. And then somebody else is spending thousands of dollars a day there. It seems pretty random with some of the websites. The ones that are reseller friendly are fairly universal, but just because somebody else can't buy on some websites, I don't want to give you some names and feel like you can't make money there. Run into the cancels, like turn it into a problem before you worry about problems that don't exist.
Are you guys going to add D-list feature if you weren't already with selling FBM? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. SellerAmp, Keepa, Boxem. Yeah. I sent 22 items, says 13 orders, but says I've sold 5 on SellerAmp. It says I have 9. Yeah, it's not. It's like Keepa might be reporting that incorrectly. Specifically right there. Amazon says out of stock. Okay, well then you don't have any in stock currently. How do you buy ads for your revenue for your products? Yeah, so we talk about online arbitrage, which is like basically just buying and selling name brand products, for example. So we don't need to do that basically.
Yep, it's already fine. Love seeing people say Amazon's saturated or doesn't work. Yeah, it's more money for those of us who are actually willing to work at it, right, Gianna? They've been saying that since we started in 2018. So
my SaaS shows negative amounts in the max cost on every item I'm scanning. Yep, because you're scanning items that are between $7 and $10, and your minimum profit is $3, right? Which is obviously unrealistic for that type of item, basically. So, for example, it's $7 item you may make 50 cents on, or $1, which might not make sense to you right now, and it doesn't make sense for a lot of people, but that is what people are doing that are selling those SKUs.
Yep. Can you purchase a beauty product brand direct if you do 10 to yeah, you can use that below. 10 units from basically any website that is trustworthy will get you ungated.
Yep. How do I know if I'm ungated? If it lets you list it. Yeah. Or so how do you know if you're gated if it doesn't let you list it? But the cool thing is if it lets you apply, you'll be good to go. Yeah.
Yep. Amazon's had your first box in reserve for about 10 days, being shipped between facilities. Yeah, that sounds about right. Usually FC transfers take 1 to 2 weeks. It slows down a little bit during Q4. You said you shipped out your first FBM sale today, though. That's what's up. So you got the money rolling in there. See if you can restock that item that you sold already too.
Lowest ROI on a product you would sell, I would say 20% ROI would be cool on like vitamin or grocery if it has a good trend where you can probably buy box higher. Honestly, because people can't return those, so they're super cash flow efficient. I would definitely avoid stuff like that if the price is volatile or if the competition's trending up, etc. So you buy from retail stores, ship it to you, then package it and send it to Amazon. Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, and no limited too. We have a 6-hour free course on YouTube you should check out. I mean, all y'all, we got 29 you guys in here on TikTok. It's like low key a stream record right there. So yeah, check out the YouTube as well. Fulls for Miles, 6-hour free course. It'll put you on a game, and y'all should check that out. Keep the questions coming to y'all.
Absolutely. What's your experience with eBay? Yeah, eBay's good. It's just not nearly as scalable. It's a good way in the early days where you have less than $3,000-4,000, that kind of thing. You just need an extra marketplace to sell some stuff on. It's also good to sell your returns on there. So like if you do shoes, clothes, that kind of stuff where it's gently used, sell it on eBay. You can get most of your buy costs back.
Do you recommend using a reimbursement service? There's a ton of them, honestly. You should check out all of them, dude. As long as they're only pay per results, and you can save like a lot of money, or you can there's no risk in using all of them.
Yep. A lot of times you can just dig in on the actual shipment view and reimburse it that way too. If it was like a bunch went missing, those services are great just for like little things that go missing though.
What's the monthly cost for inventory? It's however much you want to spend, right? Specifically for this business model, you don't have to dance on camera. You don't have to talk to people, really anything like that. All you got to do is buy product. It's a capital-based business, not necessarily a time-based business once you get good. For example, right there.
Yep. Yeah, every dollar you spend should turn into about 2 in revenue. So if whatever you're shooting for in your specific goals.
Just started Amazon. I'm looking for my first winning product. Any recommendations? Go to all your local discount stores and scan every item you can. Lily says I've been at 2 months in selling. When doing RA, I'm restricted in a lot. Any recommendations? That's completely normal. That means you're looking at good brands, right? And you can get ungated online using Target, soccer.com, etc. Right there.
Yep. You think coaching's necessary? Yeah, you can scale to the moon without help. Obviously, if you jump at something like the roadmap, that kind of thing, you'll grow a lot faster than somebody who doesn't. But obviously, you gotta invest for that to happen. So it's totally up to you, man.
Yep. All right. So this is interesting data here, guys. So check this out. So this is what Amazon themselves says about 2D barcodes right here. So if we take a look here, so Warner, you want to show the 2D barcode right there as well? Show the 2D barcode, what it looks like basically. So that's a special FBA box label you can generate through Boxem. Right. So the ironic part is Amazon tells us that basically it makes it easier, right? Providing box contents information helps reduce the time needed between your products arriving at the fulfillment center and your products being available on Amazon, right? So 2D barcodes let you skip box contents in the shipment creation, right? And then it puts in that stuff in the 2D barcode, basically, right there. So Amazon says that it's possible. Ironically, they don't give you a way to do it in Amazon Seller Central, right? You have to do it in a third-party application, and Boxem's where you do that right there. So yeah, basically, if you want quicker check-in times, quicker processing, etc. for Q4, great time to do it. Start learning how Boxem works. Warner and I have full tours on our channel too. Ordering my first bulk this week, getting started. Yes, sir. Dejan, good work. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what's up. Or retail receipt workplaces like HEB to sell groceries. For authenticity, it will. I wouldn't try to use it for ungating just because it won't have your specific info on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, look at like stuff like HEB. That's a good call to Frank because it's regional. And then people like when they leave Texas and they love their HEB staples and that kind of stuff, they have to get it on Amazon. Same with like Trader Joe's and any.
Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to do that.
I got cut off.
Trader Joe's a lit one too. Yeah, if y'all got Trader Joe's, Ollie's, grocery out locally too, that's gonna be great. Great opportunities for RA vibes.
Yep. Channel that lists stores that cancel if they suspect. Some of those websites hate money. You'll notice a lot of the websites that cancel a lot of orders are also the ones that are like on the brink of bankruptcy. If you look at their public stock filings and stuff. So yeah, it is what it is. If you're getting cancels, you can switch up like payment info. You can do what's called like jigging at your address. So you like add an apartment number, even though it doesn't have one, spell out road next time you abbreviate it, that kind of thing. Anything you can do to make your orders look different to any kind of automated system. So payment method, all that good stuff.
Do you flip items from Amazon? So you definitely can. However, that's a little bit more advanced and complicated, and there's kind of some specific rules you need to follow just because Amazon doesn't want you like them doing like all the Prime stuff twice and everything, for example. So typically wouldn't recommend it for beginners. Totally does work. Our friend Saul sells stuff on Twitter, posts a lot of good stuff about there. It totally does work. It's just a little bit more complicated for beginners where it doesn't make sense to focus on, in my opinion, when you're a beginner, but totally something you do down the line. Just a little bit more risky and kind of intensive, basically, is the way I think about it. You agree with that, Warner?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. That's what's up.
Listing has 1 or 2 sellers, that means private label. Not necessarily. Check and see if like go like open up that storefront on SellerAmp and see if they sell like 1 million of that brand. Like they have a relationship or that kind of thing with the brand. Also, if the brand name is the same as the seller name, that's a dead giveaway.
Yep.
But if it's like a brand is reseller friendly and it's just one seller, then it just means there's not much competition and you should hop on.
Can I start this business with my friends? Sure. At 17, you got to talk to your parents on the 17 part. So I should be scanning higher dollar items to see. Yeah, naturally. I mean, if you want to, like lower dollar items will be lower profit per units. Like $7 items, $8 items, typically only making like $1 a piece on it, which can still totally work. It just depends what you're looking for, specifically just business model wise and everything.
Yep. Yeah, I talked to a guy last night. He literally like just turned 18. He's like, all right, I got the account set
I
up.
remember
like,
that too. I remember when they were just in my guy. I was like, that's super lit.
Like still in high school, cranking some profitable orders in class. You love to see it. If a shipment from Boxem is scheduled, are you required to create a listing on Amazon Seller Central? No. So that's the point, is Boxem saves you from looking at Amazon Seller Central for anything shipping related. Yeah. So like knowledge, you're saying like when you create the shipment, you're going to have this label and everything like that through Boxem. So a lot of times with other tools and that and all that, you have to switch to Seller Central. So like, what's the point? It does it all in Boxem. You can print that out and you don't have to check Seller Central. How would you allocate 15K? You're a new seller. Yeah, that's a great startup budget.
That's fire,
just start by buy as many test buys as possible in the short term, because that amount of capital you have right now is going to be super useful on Black Friday sales. You're going to be able to spend all of that easily, but you need to take as many swings at the plate as possible, so you know what home runs look like and you know what bad products look like, so you don't end up dumping a ton of money into something that's bad. You need to know how to skip test buys by Black Friday, basically.
When you adjust shipping template, yeah. So if you're asking that question, you actually probably shouldn't adjust your shipping template outside of just like the basic setup. Removing free shipping, you only don't want to do free ship, or you only want to charge for shipping for next day, 2-day expedited orders. Silly, right there. Yeah, nice and easy.
Yep. Ran into transparency issue. Reputable wholesale sold you a brand. When they arrived, they did not have the codes. That means the distributor didn't, or like whoever sold it to the distributor either didn't give them permission or didn't know that they'd be selling it to e-commerce sellers. So I'd talk to your supplier on that. Make sure they actually have authorization to sell to you.
I'm being for real. You guys are blessing us sellers. Everyone charging for this information. Hey, 3 years running, or 3.5 years, damn near 4 years running. We're going to be here. We're going to be here for another 4 years, Ali. So you let us know whatever questions you got. And Ali, you got a good vibe. Would definitely recommend getting on social media. You can find some other cool sellers to work with too. That is far and away the number one thing you can do for Amazon is find cool sellers to get on Zoom with, network with, jam with, etc. Makes it a hell of a lot more fun too. And you avoid mistakes and you work less. And when you do work, it's more fun because you're doing it with the gang.
Yeah, great energy though. You can tell based on the chat
100%.
messages. Good questions, good energy, like positivity, and then they keep coming back. And 6 months later, they're doing 30K a month and so on.
That's what's up. And Ollie's doing all that without a profile picture too, which is very.
That's true. That the lowercase a is doing some heavy lifting.
Very impressive. Yeah. Very. On the back end, why would Amazon choose a higher price for buy box, and where do they draw the line? So there's no specific formula. However, typically if someone's getting higher pricing compared to the lowest, it's because the lower prices, people fuck their whole business up doing this. is because their inventory is not checked in yet to FBA and they're undercutting, right? So that's why we added auto pricing on buy box above, like, so auto list 20%, 10%, 15% above the buy box. So you don't cause any price taking based on that. The only time to become priced competitively is when your inventory is fully checked in FBA wise.
Is product good to buy if ROI is over 60? Hasn't been a buy box for 2 or 3 months. Yeah. That's a good thing. So like, if the buy box went away yesterday, it might mean that the sales go down, which usually means the profit goes down. But since it's been profitable for so long without one, then yeah, those are good items. A lot of people are scared of those too.
Yep. Would you rather sell 10 $15 products or one $150 product? For sure the latter, but like, you don't really have the choice when you're a beginner. You just take what you can get and you build over time. You know, good idea to source from Dollar Tree. Hey man, you gotta go there and scan everything and you'll figure it out based on that. We've totally heard of people making money there and everything, but either way, if you're asking that question, you need all the experience you can get. You know what I mean? So that's a great idea to go there. Yeah.
I would hit like the Ross, Marshalls, those type of stores first if you have those. But Dollar Tree can be good. I've seen people do well in like multi-packs of stuff from Dollar Tree.
Yeah. If I'm starting up, would you recommend FBA or FBM? FBM at the beginning and FBA predominantly long-term. But honestly, with Q4 again going in a couple of days, you should totally just get rock and rolling with FBM and probably ride that through. But you should do both.
Yep. How bad can a mistake? I mean, that's very like you could, if you wanted to spend every dollar you have. Yeah.
Fake stuff.
But yeah, as long as you're following the rules and that kind of stuff, basically the absolute worst thing that can happen is like Amazon decides that you can't sell a certain brand anymore. Basically, I think the most expensive L I've taken is like $10,000 or so. That's happened once. Obviously made a lot more than that. So yeah, it's not, you got to have you got to be able to deal with some roadblocks and stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be stuff that happens all the time, literally all the time, whatever you do. You know what I mean? Don't they give you time to sell?
Usually,
nope.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh, my bad.
He's talking about like,
yeah, you're in the weeds, bro. If you're asking that, that's fine, bro. Get going with that shit, man. Bro, if you know
especially
that, like,
if you know that and you haven't made any sales yet, then
that's fine, bro.
Yeah. So for example, like there's a brand that we're doing pretty well on, and Amazon I assume the brand themselves is going to sell it now, but we got 2 months to sell out. So that's usually how it goes, and it's not usually a big deal. You just have to adapt, basically, and source some new stuff.
Likely to beat suspension without invoice. You'll just use if you bought something, you have purchase documentation from it, so use that. Yeah.
Do you recommend staying away from glass and meltables as a beginner? No, meltables is fine as long as it's the right time of year. So honestly, you can start sourcing meltables now as long as it's not hot in your part of the country, because you can ship those in on October 15th. Honestly, a good thing for some of you guys are going to be able to squeeze some profit. Stock up some meltables that you know are going to be good, like the week before the 15th. On the 15th, send a 2D barcode shipment through Boxem of those meltable items, and you'll see on a bunch of meltable products the prices are way higher for the first like few days. Where the fastest people to check it in get crazy profit.
2D
and
barcode.
Yeah, I'll probably load up a couple meltables that we've got on a Google sheet that way.
2D barcodes right there. Should we really stay away from listings that Amazon has really cheap? It's going to depend. I mean, if you're making money on, you can see the third-party offer count jumping up and down, people making money. It's something you should look at, right? Don't automatically be afraid of stuff Amazon's on, right? But for the most part, listings that Amazon's on, if they're not sharing buy box, going to be stuff you want to avoid. Yeah.
What's good, Jimmy?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about from Jimmy right there. Use TD barcodes, facts. How many units to start with as a beginner? You could theoretically start with just a couple of stuff, you know what I mean? But you want to nicely start, small, low risk, etc. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, you can change like your business address, Lily, but if it's the address you're shipping from, that's just kind of how the mail works. You have to have your return address on there. How do you stay clear of brands that often IP complain? Check the item you're looking at, see if there's ever like a steep drop off in the seller count where it's like a bunch of people got kicked off all at once. Check a few other listings like that. Make sure there's a good healthy amount of third-party sellers, and beyond that you should be good. A lot of people claiming they've had their accounts deactivated for no reason. That is what I would also claim if I knew I did something wrong and then my account got deactivated and I was asking Amazon for help, right? You would claim that you did nothing wrong. Of people that we know where you're buying from legit suppliers, all that kind of stuff. You might have some headaches, but it's extremely rare to have a shutdown when you didn't do anything wrong.
If you would start from the beginning, how much you start with? Like 2 to 3K. Yeah. What's a good BSR? If you want like a formal number, like 150, 200K rank, but this time of year shit sells so quick, especially increasingly, honestly, day by day, coming up, especially in like 30 to 60 days. But in general, right, there's going to be stuff all the time where it's, especially in the larger categories, shoes, clothing, jewelry, for example. I say jewelry terribly. Jewelry. Yeah, I say it terribly. It's a bigger category. So like there can be like 400K rank listings and everything that are still totally fine as well too. If I start in 12,000, is it too risky to start with such a high amount? Start with lower. Yeah, start with lower. Build proof of concept here. Yeah, I mean, start with lower. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, if you burn through your 12K on a bunch of test buys and that kind of stuff, then you're crushing it.
Yeah.
Don't spend it all in one place, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the saying.
Cool. How can we be sure you're buying inventory from the right place and not violating Amazon rules? If the website takes PayPal, has brick and mortar locations, and is on the cashback websites, you're good to go every time. Yeah.
Yeah. A good one I've been using lately is checking the domain age too. Somebody put me on some game with that. Yeah, check the domain age, and I found like there was one that had a bunch of good reviews. They were all like recent, so it seemed a little fishy. Check the domain age; it was like 10 days old. Yeah, like, this is not a real website here.
Cool. All right, so we appreciate all you guys tuning in to the first weekly Boxem office hours. Right, so you guys got any questions? We stream most days, but specifically Boxem specific every Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern. We're right there on YouTube. You guys watching on TikTok? We got a ton of good content on YouTube as well. 6-hour free course, etc. And Warner's got a ton of good content as well. You got to make sure you check out Fields of Profit as well too. Yeah, where do you check domain age? I'm curious.
Just Google check domain age.
Oh, literally
free websites that do it for you.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, appreciate y'all tapping in. We'll see you guys soon. Chat Boxem 2 weeks for free on the website, boxem.com. 2D barcodes, FBA shipments Q4. It's gonna be a lot of fun. See y'all. Let's get to it.
Adios, guys. Great vibes today. You guys have a good rest of your day.
Didn't realize I didn't even